Volleyball New Zealand would like to recognise their life members and say thank you for their outstanding contributions to our game, sport and culture. And these life members are Shelley Addison, Joseph Ang, Citra Benecek, Alan Brody, Peter Darrickett, John Drummond, John Hall and Stuart Henderson, George Jones, Jenny Kirk, Craig Phillips and Bill Turnbull. And finally Mary Edmondson and Ross Baldwin. Exceptional contributions to the sport of volleyball in New Zealand, all of those individuals. And we're honoured to have those of you here that are able to attend tonight. Now we're moving into the acknowledgement portion of the evening. Now if you're lucky enough to receive an acknowledgement tonight, please make your way up onto the stage to collect it. Remain on stage until all recipients have been announced. If you are collecting on behalf of a school team or a club team, please send one and only one representative up to the stage. We then have a staff member who will walk you out the doors for some photographs. If you are a member of a team who has been recognised, please join your teammates out the back doors for a photograph after the acknowledgements have been presented. As a reminder, please hold your applause until the conclusion of each era. Right, we're going to start with the 1970s. And we're going to start with the girls' school of the era. And it's Otamotai College. So someone from that school can come up. The boys' school of the era is St Kennigan's College of Auckland. The women's club team, or club of the era, is Canterbury University Teachers College. Men's club of the era, Sparta. Now we move on to the female players of the era. Mary Edmondson, Maureen Horlock, Mark Wackley and Sandra Fawcett, Anne Smith and Jackie Ferries. Now to the male players of the era. John Hall and Lada Sizek, Stuart Ferries and Peter Conroy, Jan Mulder and Graham Steele. Got to be drug testing anyone, Graham? And Neville Thompson. Big round of applause for our 1970s recipients. All right, once you have your acknowledgement, please make your way out the back, except we're just going to hold Graham and Mary on stage for a bit of a chat. All right, here we go. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Mary, volleyball in New Zealand in the 1970s. What got you into the sport of volleyball?
I answered the teachers, you know, the message that came over, the notices at school. We had a teacher, an English teacher, Miss Mutual, who said, would anyone like to play volleyball, come to the gym at interval? And I went to the gym at interval and went to the first school champs after that, so that was pretty cool. So that's what got me started.
And you got the bug from there and you ended up playing for New Zealand. What was it like playing for New Zealand in the 1970s?
Oh, it was pretty cool. Probably one of the most memorable things was winning against Australia. In Wanganui, at a test match. That was pretty cool. That was one of my first experiences, so it was pretty cool. It was a great experience. We Oceania Games, and we went to New Caledonia about 2 or 3 times and had a lot of fun. Things weren't, first class hotels. They weren't first class hotels, but they were good. We had great fun, and it's great tonight meeting a lot of people that were there in those times. Yeah.
Fantastic. Good on you, Mary. And Graham. A lot of people, of course, would know you from New Zealand Sport, being the head, I think retired now, aren't you? Drug-free sport New Zealand. Still going? When do you retire?
Oh, a couple of months, yeah.
Have you drug? Yeah, okay. Have you drug tested any volleyballers, by the way, Graham?
Well, over the years, not here yet, but certainly we have. In fact, I was tested in 1979. I haven't yet had the results, so I'm still lie awake at night, sort of wondering what happened to that.
But I've spoken to a few former athletes. I reckon the whole process of going for a drug test is actually quite daunting. Was it daunting for you back then?
Well, back then we didn't have a clue what was going on. I got this beaker, which the Australian guy brought in, took it away. Last I saw of it, it's not like it was now, I can tell you.
Graham, same question for you. I mean, how did you get into the sport of volleyball in the 70s, and then you, of course, progressed to the New Zealand team? What was it like? You just share some experiences of your time in that era.
Well, we started at Rongotai College, and one of the fazetas there, Sid Turnbull, started us off, and thankfully we had the Eagles Club in Wellington, and some of the Polish players there in particular came and helped coach us. But frankly, coaching in those days wasn't of the highest quality, and I came into the New Zealand team, and I frankly wasn't a very good player, and hopefully I got better as time went on. But I think it was only when Dida Bunker started touring New Zealand that we saw technically how the game should be played, that we began to learn and really get better, because we mostly played on instinct rather than through any great technical ability.
Good on you, Graham. Well done, Mary. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. Graham's got one more thing to say, folks.
And just given the day, could I say that when we toured Europe in 1979-1980, we went to Greece, and we weren't very good, but we were welcomed there beyond our ability, because the Greeks remembered our soldiers during the war. And there's a couple of photos I put there of us visiting a cemetery just out of Athens, and it was a poignant moment for us at the time, because of the way we were received by the Greeks in relation to what they remembered in the war. So it just seemed an important moment for tonight to say that.
Good as that. How good is that, folks? Where are the fellows, Graham? I want to give those to Dave McPherson. That could be useful for the 50th anniversary book. Yeah, Graham and Mary. Well, it's time to move on now to the 1980s. The girls' school of the era in the 1980s. Te Puke High School and Kawerau College. Now the boys' school of the era, Western Heights High School. Women's club of the era is Porirua. Men's club of the era is Sparta. Second time in a row for them. Now the female players of the era, Shelley Addison, of course. Claire Stewart. Mary Edmondson, who's out getting her photo taken, of course. And Joe Waller. As soon as you hear your name come up, folks, welcome to join us on the stage. Lee Cockerell is the last player in the era. And the male players of the era. Glenn Hamilton. And Gilbert Anoka. Alan Pearce. And Tony Natapu. Mike Dodson. David Beecroft. Congratulations to all of our acknowledgement recipients from the 1980s. Again, head out the back door, folks, except for Claire and Gilbert.
Sorry guys, can I grab you all for a photo outside this? Let's grab a photo outside this.
All right, we're going to have a chat now to Gilbert and Claire. Claire, we'll start with you. Asian Championships. You came fourth, I think, at some stage during the mid-80s or close to the Seoul Olympics. You were right in contention for getting into the Olympic Games. Tell me about the experiences and why you guys became, well, so competitive as you got close to the Olympic Games.
Yeah, in 1987 we were at the Asian Champs, and I guess there was a few defining moments resulting in finishing fourth. I think playing China, losing, I think it was 15-1, 15-1, 15-1 or 2-2-2, and we arrived and there was no volleyballs, so our coach Ben Benacek said, just dry skills, girls, dry skills. Well, we lost, as I said. But I think the key there was we had a very balanced team. We had some very tall players, wonderful setters. We were from all over New Zealand, and I think the team was starting to reflect the technical coaching that Ben Benacek had spread throughout New Zealand, travelling as he did, on his own bat, knocking on our doors saying, can I come and stay at your house tonight with, as Ross Baldwin said to me tonight, a toothbrush in his pocket and a pair of underpants that he'd wash overnight. So I think Ben was starting to have the influence, but to be honest, I think it was a combination of that influence with coaches throughout New Zealand and the commitment of the managers and all the volunteers, and it was all just starting to come together to get the fourth.
Wonderful story there. Any, I know often things go on tour and stay on tour. Claire, anything you want to share on that front during that Asian Championships?
Oh, jeepers! I think you're really stretching my memory. But if I could go back to an event of a person who will remain nameless, but 4 years prior, it was also then known as the Asian Games, I think. And to Graham's point, he was tested. Well, we found out that we were going to be gender tested, which with all the Asians around us, anyway, some of us were starting to get a bit nervous, and there was this chatter as we were all lining up, and you really couldn't tell who was comfortable about this. We didn't know what sort of test it was going to be back then. And one of our number, standing in a row ready to go, just fell over. But she was okay. She played the tournament. So I guess, there was just a lot of new things that we weren't used to being introduced into international volleyball. So
great stories, Claire. Well done. And now Gilbert, the men's team during that era. You guys went on a 6-week tour up to Asia as well. Asian Championships, on to Europe. Great experience as a player, I guess, for all you guys in that era.
Yeah, it was a dream that Ben Benacek had to expose the group to, a longer period of competition. We headed over there, we slept on trains and we played everywhere we stopped, but it was a hell of a tour.
Sounds like great times, eh? I mean, you just roll your sleeves up and get on with it, eh?
Yeah, like it's just, going to those different countries and just seeing the skill level and, the ability that each of the people have in the locations we go to was just amazing, really. It just sort of put little New Zealand onto the map a little bit. We struggled in most games, but competed in some, but it was a hell of an experience.
In terms of the skill level, what was the biggest thing that struck you about how and why the Europeans in particular were of the level they were?
I think they start the game earlier, so they're skilled earlier. The consistency of the execution is higher, so they're not prone to errors as much. I think it's a little bit like rugby in this country where people are brought up on it. They're brought up on volleyball in those countries, so therefore you get to a more consistent and high level earlier and you stay there longer.
Good stuff, Gilbert, and well done, Claire. Great stories, eh? From the 1980s. to the 1990s now. Let's take a look at some of the most accomplished athletes from the 1990s, and of course the school and clubs as well. The girls' school of the era, Otamotai College. The boys' school of the era, Western Heights High School. And Nelson College. Women's club team of the era, Te Puke. Four-time national champion, eh? North Harbour Raiders is the men's club of the era. Female players of the era, Tamara Petete and Nikki Fake. Sarah Drummond and Angela Birchelit. Paula Vesti and Shelley Edison. Let's have a look at the male players of the 1990s. Craig Waller. And Mike Ackerman. Simon Vesti. Simon Kwan. Craig Siu. Yeah, that was a surprise, wasn't it? And Owen Ranfurley. Big round of applause for our 1990s winners. Stand by for your photos, folks. But Shelley and Mike are going to stay on stage. Shelley Addison and Mike Dudson. Congratulations, everybody. Yes. It's Mike Dudson. Mike Dudson, actually. Wait a second. Slight confusion, folks. Stand by. Yeah, but he was talking honest. The 1990s. Well, our women's team beat Australia, didn't they, during the 1990s, Shelley?
Yes, we did.
What was that like?
Well, we hadn't beaten them. Mary, I didn't realise that you guys had won too, so that was the second time I think we'd beaten Australia. Yeah, it was pretty special.
What was the foundation for the win?
Oh, that's a really kind of hard
Deep question, yeah, deep question. I accept that.
foundation. Oh, well, we'd had a team together for quite a long time. We had a good core nucleus, Te Puke girls over there, and a few. We just had a really strong team. And I think the thing that recognised in that era was everybody actually got on really well. We had a good Harry is here, Coach Harry. So I've got to give the coach credit. You know, often they get forgotten. But yeah, no, it was just a great bunch, a great team, and we had a good work ethic, and I think we fought really hard. And yeah, Australia's never hard to beat. In fact, in that team, the captain of that team was Kerry Potters, who won a gold medal at the Beach Volleyball Olympics in 2000. So it was a good effort by the team.
Oh, that's pretty decent, isn't it? Beating a player of that quality. Good on you, Shelley. Well done. Fantastic. And Mike? Well, Mike, tell us what volleyball in the 1990s was like for you.
Oh, it was a fantastic time, really. The coming from school to clubside Shirley, and then going on to the national team with players right around the country. We started the first Trans-Tasman series in the 1990s. We lost that series 5-4 to the Australians before they went into their $1 million program. And then we struggled till about 94, where we had a 5-4 loss again in the Test series.
And then in 1998 we finally beat them in a test series, so yeah, we overcame that hurdle, so it was brilliant.
Well, that must have been pretty special. I mean, you know, I think back to basketball in the, you know, in the late 1970s when New Zealand beat Australia for the first time. You know, you try so hard, so many years go by, and to finally achieve it must have been hugely rewarding for a player like yourself.
Oh, it was great, and it was great for the players that have been before us too. We'd worked pretty hard and we'd won quite a few games, single test matches, but never a test series. So to win a test series versus Australia was kind of the pinnacle, and it was it was a pretty proud moment in the sheds afterwards, where everyone was pretty damn happy, and we went our separate ways after that, as volleyballers always do, and then caught up again the following year.
Good stuff, Mike. Thank you. Thanks, guys. The Atlanta Olympics.
I have to have another quote because not in the 90s it was the first time that New Zealand had a beach volleyball team that qualified for the Atlanta Olympics, and I think that was pretty special, and I think Glenn and Red Hamilton, in terms of what they had to do in order to get to that event, you know, and I'm sure that the guys who are on the circuit now know how hard it is to get that event, but I think up until the lead up to qualify for Atlanta, they had to play in 18 World Series events, and you've got to remember they had to fund themselves every single step of the way. So it was a massive commitment from them. And not only that, not only did they qualify through the FIVB, they then had to get through the New Zealand Olympic qualifying system. And of course, so I actually got invited down to Nelson at the Rutherford Hotel, and I stayed with Prue and Paul Bell. And they put me in a little chair, literally with a spotlight, and I was going, okay. And they quizzed me, and I had to try and convince them that Glenn and Reid could actually finish in the top half of the field. Not only had they qualified out of 176 teams that had attempted to qualify through the World Series path, we then had to convince New Zealand that they were worthy of going to the Olympics. So I thought that was really special. And probably the meanest, cruelest thing that I've ever had to do in my life was that I wasn't actually allowed to tell Glenn and Reid that they'd been selected. So after we'd sat there, they said, okay, well, congratulations, the team will be going to New Zealand. And I was going, awesome. They said, but you can't tell them. And I said, what? No, because a New Zealand cyclist had been told he was going to the Olympics, and then they deselected him, so they didn't want anyone to know. So I just checked with Paul and Prue, and I said, did I tell you that they'd qualified? And they said no. And I couldn't tell one single soul for 5 weeks that Glenn and Reid had qualified. So I felt very cruel, but I had to stick with that. Yeah, but they did an amazing job, and I think that they are really, really worthy of enormous recognition for the path that they led for our future beach athletes.
Yeah, well said, Shelley. Awesome. What a story.